Today on Back 40, fiberglass, and then sand, and then body fill, and then sand, and then prime, and then sand, and hopefully paint. We're almost there. Hi, welcome to Back 40 Auto Works. My name is Jeremy. My friends call me Styles. This is a channel about me working on cars, trying to fix them, create things, keep them going, build them, whatever the case may be. All with very limited knowledge and even more of a limited budget. If you're watching the channel, and I think if you have, we've been working on the old station wagon here, trying to get a body job done on before the snow flies. It's been an exercise in frustration. There's been a tremendous amount of metal work, as you've seen in the last video. More than I expected. I probably should have left the car where I found it, but anyway, neither here nor there. So today's episode is going to be fiberglass, body fill, prime, and hopefully paint. And that'll be nice. So the other night, I was out here till about 1:30 in the morning, grounding down all the welds and the metal patches, trying to get it so I can put a nice coat of fill on them. Basically just getting the shapes roughed in. No, it's not perfect, I realize that, but I do the best I can. As you can see, the welds all look like they're nice and they're ground down considerably more than they were. I don't want to take all the weld off because I'm not a fantastic welder and I don't want to take away strength. Ground down quite well. Pretty happy with that. And of course, there is the metal that was treated. Just had the rust brushed off with the wire wheel and the flapper disc, and treated, of course, with a rust converter. We're going to fiberglass that as well. Fiberglass first to seal it, and then body fill. I see another crack there I might have to gouge out. I kind of missed that. We better have a peek at that. And of course, there's these holes where the roof racks were that I need to fill. Some of them are just dimpled because I can't get behind there and weld them. I just put a hammer in there and dimpled that. The other ones I have some steel tape from underneath because I don't want to weld up there. And of course there's a line of the hood where the chrome was. And if anybody's wondering why I'm taking all the chrome off, all of this rust here is because of chrome. And all this rust here as well on the other side. It was beautiful stainless trim or chrome trim or nickel. I'm not sure what they used, but it was rubbing against the metal. And eventually it caused rot with the sand and the salt and the dirt and everything that comes from living in the Maritimes. So the plan is just a nice plain car. Nothing, no chrome on other than bumpers and the grill and my tiny little dog dish hubcaps, which you've seen before. So, because I like that look, nice, plain, clean. It's going to make quite a difference. There's been a huge difference in the way the car looks already. So I'm going to get out my rag and wipe some dust off the roof. Maybe do a little bit of light scuffing with the Scotch-Brite pad and start laying on the first coat of fiberglass. Let's see how it goes. I used to be pretty good at that. See if I still am. All right, so I'm going to mix up some fiberglass. This is mini fiber. It's got a little bit of glass strands or hair or fur or something. I'm not sure what to put in, but anyway. Not like I'll mix this up as quick as I can. And I got to get to the car as quick as I can because it sets up quick. I should find a junky old screwdriver to stir that with. Oh. All right. Smells delightful. Now you don't want a whole lot. They used to say golf ball size amount of filler to a pea size amount of hardener. I'm not even sure I'm going to do that much. I don't want to go too quick because I am a little out of practice. That might be too much already. I'm just going to move the camera because I don't know if I'll have time to move the camera after we're there. We're going to start on the roof. I'll put you all right there. That should be good. I'll be back in a minute. Boy, this stuff's set up fast, I think. Don't want to put too much on because it's going to be a pain to sand off, but I do kind of have to cover the metal. This is what's going to seal it the most. I might not have mixed up enough. Look at it. I didn't. Sets up quick. Sets up quick. A friend of mine said to me, "Don't put that on too thick. You know, you won't have any fun when you try to sand it off. You do." All right, so I'm going to let those spots dry. Maybe mix up some more. The first little bit of it. And there will be several rounds of this before it's over. It all has to be sanded. This is just the fiberglass, and then I'm going to put body fill over top of it. I'm trying to get my first coat to be fiberglass though, because I think it will seal better than the actual body fill, even though I do have rust paint. We have all the spots on the back door covered now with the fiberglass. It's going slow. I'm taking my time. I'm just kind of sanding in between as I go here. I probably should sand the whole thing. I think I'm going to sand down the side. I'm just using Scotch-Brite to rough it up enough that the fiberglass will take. I don't want to take off all of my metal converter that I put on. So yeah, I think we'll go at that side with the Scotch-Brite, maybe the other, and then we just keep going with the fill, or fiberglass till we run out. Pretty sure I'm going to be getting another can tomorrow. Just rough her up enough that the fiberglass will stick to it. Even on the paint, because you're going to have some overlap, of course. Open up my nicely converted metal. She's going to get sanded a lot more silver. She's a workout. Trying my best not to take that stuff off. Just wrap it up. It's not going to be perfect. It is at some point going to come back through, and rust will come back. You know, I can't afford to cut out all the rust. I don't have the time to. I can't afford to buy all brand new panels. Can't get them anyway. So we're just trying to make her presentable. So that is going to be it for tonight. It's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. Last 2 or 3 nights, 4 nights I've been in here late. One night 1:30, the next night 2:30 in the morning, and I have to work. So yeah, I'll be out here every evening now for the next 4 or 5 days, and I really hope against hope that this thing is painted by Saturday or Sunday. And then got to maybe throw a couple brake hoses on and tighten that friggin' power steering belt again every time I turn that. You know, every couple of weeks that thing starts squealing, no matter how tight I get it. Which they tell me is kind of a common thing with the 307Os, but eventually we'll get that. However, I'll see you in the morning. Or I guess, no, I'll see you tomorrow evening. Alright, so it's Wednesday night. I was at it last night till 10:30. It's about 7 o'clock now, I think, roughly. I'm not 100% sure, maybe closer to 7:30. So I'm in here again tonight. Put more fiberglass on. I did try sanding a couple spots with the palm sander. I know you're not supposed to use a palm sander for body fill, but hey, it's what I have. A whole lot of this channel is about doing what you can with what you have. So that's what I have. That's what I'm using. Anyway, and they did sand pretty nice, so I'm pretty happy with how it works. And I'm going to carry on with that. Not right now. As far as right now, what I'm going to do is try and coat the car with fiberglass. Do wooden coat on the whole thing, except for the roof. That's already done. And if I can get that done tonight, that'll be a big win for me. And that way, tomorrow after work, I can sand all that down. Maybe even tonight I get to sand some. I don't know. We'll see how quick it sets. And get ready for the first coat of, hopefully, filler after this. So, despite how stinky and dirty this part is, I really like this part because even though it's labor intensive, you're starting to shape the car, put all the curves back, take all the dents out, take all the imperfections out, starting to make it look like something. And you're actually starting to make it look better, believe it or not, shape-wise anyway. So, we'll carry on with that and see how she goes. I wish you could get better camera angles in here, but I can't seem to. Shop's too full. Anyway, we'll do what we can. So now I've seen on other YouTube channels and other shows where people, when they go to use their fiberglass, mix a little bit of resin into it. Makes it easier to work with. At the same time, it makes it a little stronger when it hardens. So I think I'm going to try that. I do have some old resin here. Should be all right. I hope. We don't know. We'll find out. As with everything, we'll find out. And I'm going to try and do a panel at a time. Or as much of a panel at a time as I can do. Just kind of paste it on as quick as I can. It's not too bad. So, like I said, I really would like to get it all coated tonight. Full resin here. How old that resin? Alright. Hope there's enough harder in here, but not too much. I don't think I'm mixing up this one shot. Press it in right. Or it's just setting up quicker, I'm not sure. I used to be a whole lot better at this than I am. Just kind of thinking I don't mind this green. Maybe I should have painted the wagon this color. Or picked this color instead of black. Oh well. Oh, move. Terrible, terrible. So you can see that's pretty slow going, so I'll probably just stop the camera and maybe do little bits here and there rather than spend 2.5 hours filming. I think that's what's going to take me, because then you can see I'm out of practice. I'm not great at it, but you know, we will be, probably by the time we're done, we'll be fantastic at it. All right, so we're getting there. The progress is slow. All of the passenger side has been fiberglassed where all the rust was. The back door has been fiberglassed where all the rust was. The roof, of course, which you've seen already, a little bit dusty. Tremendous amount of spots to fill. This is just the first little bit. I will sand all that off. There will probably be more. It's usually the way it goes. And the driver's side is over half done. Front fender's done. It is messy. I'm not great with it. I'm tired. My patience is getting low. And it's cold out here. Anyway, the door bottom is good. And the back as well. Back door is pretty well done. Just a little bit left to touch up on that. And then the back fender, where all the new pieces are. Just about there. Okay, so it's the next day. It's Thursday evening, about 7 o'clock. I'm out here to sand down some of the fiberglass we put on last night. That was quite an event for me, using fiberglass for about 5 hours straight. I saw lots of pink bunnies and other things all the way through it, but we got the first coat on anyway. I'm not going to film a whole lot of sanding for two reasons. One, my phone is plugged up with videos because of technical difficulties. I have not been able to edit a video. So, and you don't need to see sanding for hours and hours and hours, but I will highlight a bit of it. Uncle Dave might come over and help, and we'll take it from there, and hopefully there'll be some progress to show for a quick little bit here. So it's Friday night. Dave and I done a bunch of sanding last night on the car, knocked some of the fiberglass down. We got about half the car done, I guess. Went slower than I expected because I was using 100 grit instead of 80. I did not think I need 80, but fiberglass is considerably harder to fill, so should have had 80. So anyway, I'll show. Oh, I got lots of the back of the car done on the passenger side. Halfway up to the middle of the back door here. This still needs to be done, and all the way to the front still needs to be done on this side. Dave got some of the spots on the hood and most of this side of the car, except he didn't do the heavy stuff on the bottom. He wanted me to left that for me, and that's fine. And he got back this far, and some spots up on the roof. So we're going to continue on with that tonight. I hope to get all the fiberglass knocked down, and so we can go move on to a little bit of soft body filler. So I have not filmed a whole lot of what we're doing right now, and that's just knocking down the fiberglass. Reason being, it's a long, slow, meticulous process, and you just don't need to see the whole thing. I will film a little bit, just so you get the idea. This is the fiberglass we put on a couple nights ago. We've got probably 10, 12 hours into the sanding already. And we're just doing what we can do. What am I using? Palm sander. Should you use a palm sander for bodywork? No, probably not. But that's what I have. and we're knocking her down with 80 grit sandpaper. I had started the other night with 100, which was foolish. I thought 100 would be good enough, but fiberglass is considerably harder and stronger than regular old body fill, so we're using. This ain't even a new one. I got it at the yard sale for $5 because that's how I do things. Anyway, so I'm going to film a little bit of me knocking down this and possibly some other spots. I should remind people again, the way we're doing these probably is not the right way, but it's a way that works for me and my budget. And this is just a beater. Although I had to tell myself not to be so meticulous. I'm trying to feather edge everything, even on the first step with this. And you actually can feather edge with a palm sander and 80 grit. Don't work too bad. Wouldn't recommend it, but it's working for me. I shouldn't say I wouldn't recommend it. You do what you can afford to do. That's what I do. And if you need to stand with a palm sander or a block of wood and a piece of sandpaper, that's what you do. You do the best you can. So that's where we're at now. I'll put the respirator back on and do a little bit of this. And my goal was to have all this fiberglass knocked down tonight, but it's just about midnight and that's not going to happen. But it's Friday night. I'll be getting up early tomorrow morning and going at it again. I am painting this car Sunday, one way or another. She's got to go to work Monday morning, which means probably an all-nighter tomorrow night. But you know, we can do it. I'll sleep when I'm dead. We'll carry on. We're probably, I don't know if you can hear me through this, but we're probably about, I'd say 3/4 done knocking down the fiberglass. This major spot, that major spot, on the bottom door. They've done quite a bit on the wheel well already. The whole other side is done, passenger side. The tailgate is more or less knocked down. And a few little spots on the hood. And then we can go at her with body fill, which will be considerably quicker. So for anybody who's never done this before, when you feather edge something, the wider you can make the transition between the two mediums, the paint and the body fill, or the paint and the steel. If your edge, where one meets the other, is 1/8 of an inch or more, it's going to be a pretty nice transition, and you shouldn't see it when you paint. That's what I'm told, anyway. When I run my hand over this, I can't feel where one starts and the other stops. And I know this is the first stage, and I'm probably being too fussy, but I'm putting black on, and black shows everything. Even if it's just old transparent, it's going to show you everything. I will carry on. I've moved the wagon outside to finish up the last little bit of knocking down the fiberglass, get it ready for some body fill. Just, you know, it's nice out today. Keep the dust down in the shop. So there. That's how far we've gone so far. There are definitely some low spots. But overall, she's looking a whole lot better than she did. Now I'm going to mix up some regular body fill and try and get all those low spots. Fiberglass, I had a bit of a hard time working with it, like down here. I put a little bit too much resin in it, made it too soft, so it fell a bit, but overall, we've got our shape. And there's a fair amount of a few little low spots to fill, but we're getting there. Not going too bad. I'd like to still leave her out here while I put the fill on. So I'm going to mix up some fill and go with coat number 2. See how that goes. I'm really hoping all we need is coat number 2. Just getting tired of this, but it's got to be done. There's not a tremendous amount of low spots, although there's still more than I'd like. Especially down in here where I put use a little bit too much resin in the fiberglass, but that's better for the car. And I keep finding spots I forgot, so I really should fiberglass that. But I think at this point we're just going to pound fill over and see what happens. Trying to go quick. I'm a very messy body filler. As you all have probably figured out. So the second coat of filler has been sanded. As I said, I'm not going to show a whole lot of sanding work. It's boring for you guys to see. I probably got 25 or 30 hours sanding it now. They do keep burning through because I'm just using a palm sander and 80 grit because that's what I have for now. So a couple little low spots here. So what I'm going to do now is mix one more final coat of fill, hopefully the final, and go back and get all these low spots. This one here, here. I can feel them when I run my hand over them. I did put some primer on up here. And I could still see the high and low spots in the fill through the primer. So I'm not very happy yet, but we're getting there. It is very slowly getting better. I need less and less fill all the time. These spots up here I burn through. Keep trying to use the edge of the palm sander to feather edge, and I kind of shoot myself in the foot when I do that. However, there's less and less filler to put through all the time. These spots down here at the back where the new steel is, most of the waves are out. I need one more skim coat on them on both sides. And one more skim coat on the door bottoms on both sides. I think I'll try and put that last coat on tonight. And then I'll call it a night and be back at it tomorrow after supper. Okay, so it's night number 15 or 16 of coming out here in sand and body fill, working on the car. I have put one good heavy coat of fiberglass on in spots and 3 coats of fiberglass on, again all in spots. I did not film any of that sanding because sanding is monotonous and annoying, and nobody needs to watch hours and hours and hours of that. It's a pretty simple principle. You take sandpaper, you rub the rough off. Anyway, I probably am being my own worst enemy here and creating more work because I'm not good at this stuff. And I know any professional bodyman who might be watching this, and I apologize if you are because I'm not, and I'm sure you figured that out long ago. I should have skim coated the whole car. I know that. I should have used a longboard. I know that. But don't have longboard. Not good enough for putting body fill on to use the big long trowel and skim coat the car. And I'm just doing what I can do. So right now, this is what works best for me. So, and yeah, I'm sure there's going to be spots of fill I'm going to see. But I've decided, talking to my friends and finally telling myself, look, it's not going to be perfect. Stop trying to make it so perfect. Which is normally me anyway. I don't try to do things perfect. I do what I can do. So where we're at now, I have one more spot to fill because of my own fault. I went through too far with the sander. All I have to sand are these electric sanders, which I know are not right. Should have a orbital or a DA or whatever you want to call it. I don't have it. I got a tiny compressor, but I can't run one. So I do what I can do. So there's that, and I had a palm sander which blew up, which I did not know would happen, but she popped pretty good, and I near peed, scared the heck out of me. So it's gone. So all I have left is this, which isn't even mine. It's Uncle Dave's. I thank him for lending it to me, and it actually was probably the best sander here. I used it on the driver's side, and it done a lot more work, a lot quicker than the other sanders, and it was not near as aggressive at the same time. So I'll be buying one of those. So that's where we're at. I'm going to finish filling that spot tonight and sand it. I'm going to wipe as much dust off as I can, and I'm going to take my 4 or 5 cans of primer and prime the spots, and try and get enough of a coat on so that the paint doesn't suck up the body fill, or the body fill doesn't suck up the paint, I'm trying to say, because it is spray bombs that are going on. So that's something I had to remind myself. You're just spray bombing this. You're not painting it properly. So all you're doing is keeping rust away for 4 or 5 years. So, but, you know, I got to remind myself of that stuff every now and then. So that's what's going on. That's where we're at tonight. And I'm hoping like crazy to be putting paint on this Saturday or Sunday. It's Thursday night now. I'm only going to spend a couple hours here because I'm exhausted. As I said, I've been in here every night. And I'm 48, so rolling around on the floor with a sander hurts a bit. So yeah, we will carry on. Painting's coming soon. I can't wait. So we've wiped the dust off right here to see what we have, see where we still have to do some more work. I am probably going to take the palm sander and run over these spots where the clear is peeling here, because I do need to knock them down. That's probably going to be the last of the sanding. As you can see, there's a tremendous amount of spots. They're not bad, you know. If you look down the side of the car, the profile of the car, as best you can in here, it's fairly straight for all. You know, there's no real, I know you can't really tell, but there's no real bad gouges or lumps from the fill. When I run my hand over it, it does feel fairly smooth. There's the odd little transition, but we're not going to worry too much about it because at this point we just can't. And then down there is the last little section of fill, which I think is just about ready to sand. And then I'll start priming some spots, probably before I mask, because I want some of them covered, because I'm going to give it a quick bath before I do any actual paint. Anytime I've ever done any paint work, and I usually always do with spray bombs because I've never had my gun up and running yet, but anytime I do any spray bomb work, I try to wash the area. And you know, as long as you can dry it right away, it's pretty good. You can have the water with the bare metal and the rust won't start. Just wipe it down again, you're ready to go. And I would really like to do that to get rid of all the dust. I've also got a smaller spray can, a regular spray can to do in around these doorposts up in here, underneath the drip rails and stuff, and in here. I'm not going to go all the way in the door jambs, but I'm going to get the bulk of it with a smaller spray can. I see you got a spot in there where the, I don't know, some factory fill fell out or what. I'll have to put something in there. By doing all those areas with the smaller, or regular spray can that has the smaller fan pattern on it, again, these door jambs and stuff up and around there, those areas, simply because it's going to be too hard to do that in the with the turbo cans without doing a run, well, creating a run, because the fan is so big. And you heard me say before I couldn't get this last piece of trim off, so I'm going to scuff it and paint it, and the other 3 pieces of trim I'm going to scuff off the car, as well as the mirrors. We're going to scuff them and paint them off the car, and just with a regular spray can, gloss black. And I'm actually really liking the way it's turning out. As I said thousands of times, it won't be perfect, but it'll be good enough for me. It'll be all one color, and I cannot wait to tint those windows. That's going to make quite a difference too. We got that last spot sanded down as good as we're going to get it. Looks pretty good. I mean, I am still only using 80 grit right now just to knock things down. I went over some of the spots too where the clear was peeling on the hood to try and feather edge where the clear was peeling, so I can go over top of it without having too much of a line. They say that if your paint line is only about an eighth of an inch, that's enough, that you can't see it. And I can't feel it when I rub my fingers on it, so we might be all right there. So I've done that on the hood, some spots, as you can see, and a couple more spots on the roof. And I've just been kind of walking around and picking at things as I see little things, little bits here and there that I forgot to sand, or maybe lumps of fill on the edges of the doors and stuff like that. Trying to get them. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but trying pretty hard to make her as good as I can. That's important to me. So that is it for tonight. And I'm going to start firing some primer on it tomorrow. I kind of probably should tape up the windows, but I'd like to wash it at least once. I might do that, because after I get my primer spots, I'd like to go over the whole car again with 400 grit, like the whole car with the sander, especially in the primer spots. I don't have a lot of high build primer, but I have some. I have one can of this high build Dominion Sure Seal primer. It's actually really nice stuff. And a couple of cans of Tremclad and a couple of cans of the Krylon. I really like the Krylon. And I'm trying to make sure that everything is enamel, because the Tremclad TURBOCANs are enamel. You can't mix enamel and lacquer together or it'll react. So I'm hoping I'm going to be all right with all this stuff. I love this build stuff because you can spray it on and scuff it down. And it acts a little bit like filler too. Anyway, this is what we have. So we will carry on. So I put some primer on the wheel well to see what it's going to look like. That wheel well here, where I had to do all the reconstruction work. And you can see that arch is not perfect. A little bad over here. And it does not have that nice crisp line that I'm looking for there. That's all right though. We will add a little more fill to it tomorrow and shape it. That's just going to be a couple more hours with the sandpaper. And you can see in there where I was trying to bevel with my sandpaper. It put a crease where I didn't want it there. Anyway, we'll get that out tomorrow. Try and get that better looking. Again, that's only a little bit of work with sandpaper and time, and we can straighten that out. All right, so it's Friday night. It's about 8:30, somewhere around there. I just got home from work. I'm going to put a little more fill in around that wheel well area on the rear of the driver's side, because I'm not happy with how it turned out, and sand that down. And I'm not going to use the electric sander this time. I'm just going to use my piece of sandpaper in my hands and go from there. I'm trying to fix it up a little bit, and then once I've got that, I think I'm going to run over the whole car with the 400 and maybe some 320 in between. I'm not sure, but try and smooth out this body fill a little bit, because tomorrow it's primer and masking tape and Scotch-Brite and paint, I hope. And one more right there on that hole where the roof rack was. I had pretty well sanded through it, so I put a little bit more there just to be safe. And while we're waiting for that to dry, I had an old Krylon spray can of gloss black. I gave my mirrors a quick coat, so they look pretty snazzy. Almost too nice for the car. You see my improvisation with jack stands to keep them off the ground. Use what you got. If the rest of the car looks that good at all, even half that good, I'll be happy. No, I'm not masking up. Wouldn't be a backyard job for me tonight. I think we're going to do a couple coats. So the wagon has been sanded and sanded and sanded. First with 80 grit, then with 220 grit, then with 400 grit. And then we gave it a bath. Now she's all masked off and ready to go. Looks like something out of a science fiction movie, but things always get worse before they get better, as I always say. So the first thing we're going to do is prime the spots and try and cover them up a little bit, enough so they don't bleed through the paint. And then we'll be on to the turbo cans. All right, so I've got all my spots primed several times. I did 6 different cans of primer between Tremclad and Krylon and Dominion Sure Seal, whatever I could get my hands on. None of it seems to be reacting with each other, so that's good. Got my door open, let my shop air out for a few minutes. Pretty stinky in here. Got a little paint. It doesn't look too bad. I don't see quite so many dry spots on the fill now. Some of the sections of fill has 6 or 7 coats on it. I just don't want that to show up through the paint. And I didn't see any flies until I started painting. There's one right there. I must have killed about 10 of them already. I figured with it in here I wouldn't be dealing with those. Anyway, a few more minutes and we'll break out the turbo cans. So I've gone around the car and done some of the smaller areas with a regular can. It's just a small can of Krylon that I had, black enamel. Around the doorpost areas and stuff, and the grill. Smaller areas, tighter areas, I don't want to make a mess up with turbo cans. So that's looking pretty good. I'm already getting the feel for what she's going to look like. Pretty excited. Then my doorpost over here that I rebuilt. Looking pretty sweet. I'm quite impressed with that, considering it was full of holes. Anyway, we're going to get out the turbo cans here and hope for the best. Don't look too bad so far. I'm going to start on the roof first. First can. You can see my spray pattern is in the back window. Just to be safe. Oh man. Usually not be that big. Oh my. They look pretty sweet. Well, she's back. Well, you got nice though. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Don't think you want to. What do you think of that? Well, they don't empty as quick as I thought. There's some more empty, but I'm not worried about the paint splatter. Alright, this candle is empty. Well, I can't complain about that. They're messy, that's for sure. One can down almost my whole roof. It's definitely black. That's some bad fish eyes in the hood. I don't know what that's from. I mean, I had it cleaned and with wax and grease remover and everything. I don't know if that's chemical from the can itself. I really don't like that. But other than that, I mean, it's orange peely, but it's doing the job. And I can't see my body go through it, so I'm kind of happy with that part of it. But I really don't like those fish eyes. That kind of ruined the paint job. But it is just a beater, I guess. We will carry on because we have it. It's shiny, though. Just keep reminding myself this is just a 500 or another beater. Well, don't feel too bad. Let it wrap. It's actually low without not too bad. Yeah. That's fine. That's what I'm going to do with it. Okay, folks, there she is. There's some ripples and waves and dips and dives and runs. But remember, it's a bomb sander spray can. The whole thing cost me $500. The whole objective was just to stop the rust. I don't know how well you can see the waves. You can see the bodywork that I was sort of worried about. Dips and dives, and that's proof that yes, I really should have skim coated it. Was not able to though. I should have flood filled it for sure. Keep in mind though, I'm a backyard guy. Skills are limited. That actually looks pretty good on camera. You can't see all the mess on camera. Or maybe you can. There you go. But hey, it's a beater. And I just bought her another 4 years, 5 years. In Eastern Canada. Pretty impressed with the overall look of it, really. Better than I thought. Not too terrible. And I will put the trim back on here shortly in the mirrors. I'm just it's outside, it's cold. I'm hoping that the wind will harden the paint up a bit. It might be tacky for a few days, so she might run without her trim for a few days. It's hard to see it out here, but there's a bad run there. And you can see where the paint is kind of cloudy in spots again. I think that was from the cold. And it laid on like super thick, so it was kind of difficult to control how much was on it. Using 2 passes with the can and you've got too much almost. She's almost what a guy in Tennessee would call a going to town rig. Pretty damn close. That's it for this one. Turbo cans, will I use them again? I do want to try them again. I had a lot of things against me here. Temperature, for starters. It's about snow today, and I was doing this 2 o'clock in the morning before I finished last night, and I had no choice because down to the time crunch, it has to be done. I've got to be driving this thing. So I do want to try them again. What I found is they leak bad, which I knew anyway. The nozzle is so wide that the paint tries to flow out of it. I should grab one. The nozzle on them is quite literally just a fan. And I found you make 4 or 5 passes and you had to take the top of the can off and clear it out. So that was against me. I didn't have quite enough room in the shop that I wanted because I knew with these things you had to just about run, or at least I was told. But that wasn't really the case when I started spraying it. It laid on pretty thick and you could control how fast you were going. But because I had to get so close, I couldn't help it get runs. I couldn't see very well, it was dark. Excuses, I know, but that's my experience with them. Will I try them again? Yeah, I probably will try them again, but it'll be a little different scenario. It'll be warmer, I'll have more room, and a little more patience. Woke up this morning, there's 3 dead flies in my fresh paint. What can you do? However, best part about TrimClad is I can buy it anywhere. And so I can touch it up at any time. And that was a big thing. And it could be cut, it could be buffed. So those runs and those dry spots can all be fixed, but they won't be getting fixed till the spring. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.